channel, everyone. Glad you're tuning in. My name is James, and today we're going to be rebuilding our E4OD. If you're tuning into the channel for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Give us a big old like over here at Central Oregon Shenanigans, and if you have any comments, please comment down below. So, let's do a little recap to where we're at right now. Kyle and I bought a $200 Ford F-150. We bought it really cheap because it had a blown up transmission and some body damage. Kyle and I put some Lucas stop slip, got the transmission to come back alive for me to rally it around the property out at Papa's house for a little bit. And then we had a catastrophic failure of the transmission, which I don't think Lucas, I don't think it was a clutch problem. I don't think it was, I know for a fact it wasn't a clutch problem. What had happened is the tail shaft completely stripped out of this planetary right here. I can't remember, this is I think the forward drum planetary, and this planetary got hot, it was beat up. I think it was on its last leg, and then something got stuck when I was rallying that truck and caused it to engage, and then I heard a pop, which I think this was finishing off the threads. And that was what finished off our E4OD. Shortly after that, Kyle and I went up to Portland, Oregon, and we couldn't find a core transmission locally, so we had to drive up. We grabbed ourselves a transmission, really cheap. I mean, I think we paid more in fuel to go up there and get it than we did the actual transmission. Got it home. All the parts inside the transmission were beautiful except for the overdrive, which the guy that we purchased the transmission for had it in his truck. It was an O'Reilly's Reman Special. I don't know. Got 40,000 or 45,000 miles and lost overdrive. So we probably could have got away with just pulling some overdrive pieces out, sticking our overdrive parts in there. Probably could have got away with it. But I've always wanted to pull a transmission all the way apart and rebuild it. Now, I'm doing a pretty close, if you go back and watch my teardowns, if you're just tuning in and you're wanting to rebuild an E4OD, go back and watch my teardowns on the E4OD to get to this point. Because we're going to start from here, we're going to start cleaning parts and reassembly. I'm not going to be doing a complete how-to. I'm going to show you a pretty good idea. I'm not really into doing the how-to videos. I'm more of here just a storyteller here, how it's going, But anyway, if you guys want, if you want a how-to video, I'm going to link the transmission bench videos down below that I've been watching to successfully rebuild this transmission. You can buy their transmission rebuild kit. I've heard good things about it. I wanted to do this as cheaply, as simply as possible. Got myself a basic trans part rebuild kit off of eBay. This was I think it was $160 something plus shipping. I think we were about $180 into that transmission kit. I've inspected all the parts to this transmission, marked down what we needed, and we just needed a basic overhaul kit. So, with that being said, transmission bench is going to be more of a step-by-step. Please follow along with our build here, but when you go to rebuild your transmission, I do recommend transmission bench is a good step-by-step video to watch. He doesn't skip anything. I've watched, and there's hours of him rebuilding an E4OD. So, let's get started. I'm going to catch you guys here in a minute. I'm going to get you set up and get things set up, and we're going to start moving forward. Alrighty, guys. I've got some wash tubs here. I've got 3 of them. This one's empty, but as I wash things, I've got a first bath, a second bath, and then I've got a empty one to put them into to kind of drain off, and then I've got some towels over here, some cotton towels. Things that you're going to be needing to rebuild, to wash the parts. I'm using mineral spirits, paint thinner, mineral spirits to do this. And I'm going to be using some paint brushes to get in the fine cracks. You're going to want assembly lube. It basically dissolves and breaks down once the transmission starts moving. This is some good stuff, and I can't get it open. It's green. I've seen a blue pasted one before, but this is Assembly Go. Firm thick. It dissolves, so you can use it in automatic transmission fluid. But yeah, we're gonna need paste. Went ahead and picked myself up a new oil can, brand new, cleaned it out, made sure it was nice and clean, and I added automatic transmission fluid to it. You need that for reassembly as well. Okay, so a transmission bench, you go through and you clean all your parts, then you start putting them back into the transmission. I do not have the space. That is dirty over there on the workbench. This is a nice, clean, sterile environment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do sub-assemblies, clean them, get them into the transmission, then move on to the next sub-assembly, clean them, rebuild them, get them in the transmission. So we're going to do all of our rebuilding over here on this cleaner table, and we're going to do it per sub-assembly. So we're starting with the reverse clutch pack first. That's what's going to go back in the transmission first. So we're going to want the rear shaft. We're going to want it cleaned up. We're going to want all the rear parts of the transmission to reassemble first, cleaned. And once we get all that put back in the transmission, then we'll grab another sub-assembly. So let's start with these. First off, the rear piston. I'm going to wash it. This is going to be a learning curve for myself here. Pretty dirty. Get it in the tub here. Want gloves, towels, eye protection if you have it. Just get her in the bath here. Start cleaning it up on our first bath. Is actually working really well. I'm just using an oil better brush. Bitter. And the mineral spirit. See, this smells like Jet A. This smells like jet fuel. I only know that because I used to work at an airport refueling airplanes. It's kind of got that jet fuel smell to it. And as you can see, I'm running it through a second bath right now, guys. And there's not much coming off it. I'm going to put it in the third tub, let it knock off all the mineral spirits, and then we'll go move it over the towels and dry it. I've got to charge this camera, so I'm going to get all these on this sub-assembly. We're going to have plenty of cleaning of parts today. So let me get this sub-assembly cleaned while this charges, and then we'll come back when we start rebuilding this sub-assembly. We went ahead and cleaned all the parts. Everything's nice and shiny clean. I just got done removing the seals out of the rear reverse piston. I think that's what that's called. I'm not 100% on that. I've got the spring cage clean. I forgot the name of this part and this part. These are both clean. We'll talk about this when we reassemble here in a minute. I'll get the names of the parts. And we got this rear sub-assembly. I took the keeper clip, whatever you want to call it, out, and I took this copper piece out. I cleaned that, and I also cleaned its spring cage in here, inspected all the bearings, inspected this, cleaned everything. Everything's been cleaned. It's been drying, and I just want to talk about the seals. These are square seals. I pulled these out of off of here, in here, and I found the replacements in the kit that are square seals that are identical. We're going to lube those up with transmission fluid, which we've got in this bottle right here. And you could use assembly grease as well. We did a little bit of case prep while you guys were away, or while I was charging cameras here. And I've got this seal in the case right here. I know the case is dirty. I didn't have it hot tanked. I just steam cleaned the inside of it, which turned out beautiful. There is absolutely no dirt anywhere. I spent a long time getting all the crevices and all the passageways cleaned out, and I dried it, and there's nothing to be worried about. It's nice and shiny clean on the inside. I started to wash the outside of the case. It was just going to take too much time, and like I said, if it was going in a few $1,000 rig. Probably have done a nice little paint job on it, cleaned it up, but it's a $200 truck. So as long as all the internal pieces are clean. Now what I did is we'll do this again on the next subassembly and I'll film it. But just to go over this, I went first bath, second bath, then I had a third bath, and then I went through a complete drying process. I took my air nozzle here and blew all the mineral spirits out, and then towel dried everything. Nice clean towels, trying to keep everything clean. This over here is all old clutches. We're not going to reuse any of the pressure plates or the discs themselves. So, alrighty guys, I'm having fun here. We got our new seals on. You want to make sure you lube that seal, and you want to lube that seal on the piston. I also took assembly lube, and you can see down there at the bottom, I put assembly lube down there. With this square type of seal, we're going to put it in, and then we're going to take the output shaft and we're going to pound it into place. I'll show you how it's done. Here we go. Like I said, I've got assembly lube on the the inner race. I went to the hardware store and picked up do believe these are 5/16 3-inch by 24 pitch. Marked my fluid passage right there, and I marked my fluid passage down in there. I don't know if you can see that mark or not. I know exactly where it's at. From the valve body, it's at the 5 o'clock position in the case. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to drop this down into the case. I did cut the heads off. This will just slide right into place like that. And then we're going to go down below with 2 of our bolts. We're just going to go ahead and snug these up, guys. Alright guys, I went ahead and crisscross pattern tighten these down. We're going to go 20 foot-pounds on these bolts now. Alright, I got those torqued down to 20 foot-pounds. Alrighty, next I grabbed the thrush washer off our workbench over here. Grabbed some assembly lube, pasted that, and I stuck that guy just like so. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab the output shaft and parking gear assembly. And we got the transmission upside down, laying sideways here on our table. Low reverse clutch hub is what this is called. We're going to go ahead and lube your bearings inside here. With automatic transmission fluid. And your spring cage, make sure it's all lubed up. Looks good. Alright, it goes in the transmission next. I've got the shaft up against you can put up against a wall, but I got the shaft up against a stool. Now I'm going to go nice and easy. And we're going to rotate it clockwise. If we push. And there we go. Alrighty guys, I got the low reverse clutch hub. You watched me put that in a little while ago. Had to go to the grocery store, you know, do the dad thing, pick up kids from school. Came back home, and we've got this next sub-assembly here, sun gear, I do believe it's called, some other pieces. Just got through the wash tub. We're going to be putting those in next, and then we can put the clip on that shaft and be able to put it back up onto our stand and actually start dropping parts in. Alright guys, the output ring assembly is next. There's parts names here that I'm not going to learn every one of them. We got to move. So this needs to go in that case next. So this bearing needs to be silky smooth after you've washed it. I've let it dry. It is silky smooth. We're going to go ahead and lube it up. Going to go ahead and lube it up with our transmission fluid. Still silky smooth. No damage to the bearing. The housing should be a thrush washer or thrush washer. Okay, this is the next piece that needs to go in there. Now that bearing has to go in the case first. So what we're gonna do, so we don't drop our bearing, is we're gonna put some assembly lube on it. Assembly lube around the outside here, and that will hold it from falling down in there, just like that. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but okay. I'm gonna go install that in the case. Going in with our assembly. Oops. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I've got to put this output shaft snap ring in next. Make sure that there's tolerances for it. So yeah, it's got to go on next, and I'm not looking forward to this. This was a real pain in the butt to put on. Actually, it took me about 5 minutes. I had to completely get both arms inside the case. Nice and smooth. Sweet. Alrighty, now that we got that part down in there, the case is flipped back up right. We're gonna go ahead and insert our sun gears. I pre-lubed all the gears, and we've got thrush washers on both sides with assembly lube. They should just drop into place and then fit down, just like that. Alright, next is the snap ring. Gonna palm it, maybe. There's no way I can get both hands down in there. Sometimes these have a cushion plate. Both these transmissions didn't have cushion plates, so we're gonna start with a steel plate. Friction plate. Maybe. Alrighty, so I have the right clutch, or the friction plates. I just took my planetaries back out because it wasn't wanting to clear those. I'll show you in a second. Friction plate, then we're gonna go metal plate, friction plate. And you want to, I've already got these guys pre-soaked in transmission fluid. You do not put friction plates in dry, guys. Friction plate. Metal plate. Friction plate. the big plate to finish her off. I forgot the name of it. A lot of learning here, guys. This might take me a couple rebuilds to... Boom. New bushings. This is going in next. I just ripped my glove. Make sure I put plenty of lube on the bushings and gears. Forward planetary. Housing. Alright guys, this concludes part 1 of the transmission rebuild on the E4OD for the $200 truck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said 3 times in this video, well, this will be the 3rd time. If you guys are looking for a how-to, check out Transmission Bench. That's what I'm following to put this transmission back together and to do this whole rebuild. This isn't a how-to video. This is just showing you my progress. Thanks for tuning in. Give this video a big thumbs up. Comments do go down below. Hit that subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you on part 2 on the E4OD transmission rebuild. See you guys.